Hey guys, I'm Bob from Totally Unique Life, and I'm here in front of my Preview 528 that I bought from my hamster Cooty, who is actually in there sleeping at the moment. I also bought a silent runner, a 9-inch silent runner, which you can see above the platform right there. I was having an issue with the knob, which is in my hand here. I have an extra knob. The plastic knob, which is, I guess, considered a nut, was becoming loose in the morning. At least I noticed that it was loose in the morning after Cooty, my hamster, ran on the wheel each night. And so this really bothered me. I was worried that the whole wheel could come loose and she could actually get trapped underneath it or get hurt in some way. So I looked into how do I resolve this issue, and I came up with a solution that now keeps the wheel stable each night. Nothing loosens up, and I'm going to take you out into my workshop right now and show you exactly what I did. Okay guys, so I'm out in my workshop now. And let's just do a quick review of what comes with the cage attachment when it comes to the silent runner, which is right here, made by Exotic Nutrition. So it comes with a bolt. What I realized that this is it's called an M8, which is an 8mm diameter bolt. So this is metric. That's something to remember. Comes with a spacer that goes right here. It kind of keeps the wheel away from the cage side of the cage itself. It comes with two plates. One goes on one side of the cage, the other goes on the other side of the cage, and it comes with kind of a plastic cap that screws in to the bolt. But before that, it comes with a external toothed washer, and I think this does nothing, to be honest. But that goes between the plate and the plastic screw. You may have received a wing nut instead of this plastic cap, but I don't think this does anything better than the plastic cap. So what did I do to resolve the issue? What was happening every morning is that this cap was loose, and so I had to tighten it up every time. So let's go over what I ended up doing for a solution. First of all, I got rid of this M8, this metric bolt, and got a comparable standard bolt, the same length. It's 2 1/8 inches long, and this is a 5/16 inch diameter bolt. So just remember 5/16. Everything will be in the description, so if you forget, you can always run the video back. But I wanted to use standard US kind of hardware here, so I ended up getting one of these, and it actually matches the head as well, almost exactly. This is a 1/2 inch head, so I got that along with all the original cage attachment parts. Obviously I'm going to use the plates, I'm going to use the spacer. I got a couple of plastic washers, and you'll see how they work in a moment. And the most important aspect of the change I made to help keep this silent runner tight, is to buy a lock nut. And what is a lock nut? A lock nut is a nut which has some nylon in the back. And what happens is that when you take your bolt and you kind of put the nut into the bolt, at one point it stops. So that's what a lock nut does. And what happens is that the threads from the bolt grab onto the nylon that's in the back of the lock nut, and that's what keeps everything tight. So that's basically how a lock nut works. So now let's give a demonstration of how I actually made the change from the original cage attachment hardware to my new setup. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use an old Critter Trail cage, which, to be honest, I did use originally for one of my hamsters, but I soon quickly learned after doing a little bit more research that these are much too small for a hamster. A Syrian hamster is what I have. So I'm going to use this. I use this sometimes to transport my hamster if I have to bring her to the vet. So it's easier to use this to explain how to attach the wheel. So first thing you do, you take the silent runner. This is a 9-inch silent runner. Take the bolt, the new bolt. This is a standard bolt, 5/16 inch standard bolt, 2.125 inches long. That's 2 1/8 inches long. I stick it right into the hole. It'll get in there. Okay, so now it's sticking out the back. So the next thing you're going to do is take the spacer that comes with the original cage attachment hardware. Stick it right there. Then you're going to take one of these plates. That's going to go on the inside of the cage. Now this cage, the width between the rungs here is smaller than the Preview 528 that I have for my hamster. So it's going to take a little work to just push it through. So there it is. You basically push it right through. And so now we have the plate on the inside. And then the next thing you want to do is take the other plate and put it on the outside. And the thing is about these lock nuts is that you have to have it so that it will stop but not have any of this play. That's where these, I bought rubber washers. You could actually use metal washers like these if you want. I just thought rubber worked fine for me. So whatever you want to use, you can use. You might need a few more than just 2 metal washers, because these are a little thicker than the metal washers. So you got to take this out. And what worked for me is 2 of these washers. And the second one. Now, I want to make sure that when I put on this lock washer, now remember the nylon is in the back. So, I'm sorry, when I put on this lock nut, the nylon is going to be in the back. You want to make sure it seeds all the way and eventually does hit the nylon, because if it doesn't, it's not going to stay secure. So I'm holding the bolt with my other hand right now so that that doesn't move. Now what I use is like, basically it's like a socket. It's a 1/2 inch socket. So I just put it on here and I turn it. Notice this is spinning a little bit. You want to make sure everything is solid. I just like to have this kind of up and down. Now it appears that the lock nut is now engaged. The bolt is hitting the nylon, so that should prevent this lock nut from coming loose. So now let's spin it. Seems to be spinning fine. There's not really any play. This this old Critter Trail cage is, when you take off the top, you know, it's going to be loose. But the Preview 528 is not like that. So I'm just going to try to tighten just a little bit more. I'm going to just hold the plate. Now I think that's perfect. Just have to play with it a little bit. You could use just a pliers if you want. That will go over here and just hold, you know, the bolt with your hand. But right now that's how I solve the issue of this plastic nut in a silent runner from loosening every night. And I've used this technique now for, I think it's been 10 days now, and I have not had to tighten this nut at all. Now I feel secure each night knowing that when my hamster runs, that this whole attachment is going to remain secure, and she's going to be safe. So I appreciate it if you enjoyed the video, to like it. I appreciate you to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments, and I'll get back to you at least within a day. And I hope this is a solution that you guys can also use if you are having a similar issue with your silent runner.